Movie opens on what seems like 30 minutes of dialogue-free, hot Chinese longshoreman action. Crates are moving, baby, and there were boats. And they're docked. What the is this rando shooting at? He wasn't on deck when all this went down between Lee and Sang, and he has no clue what's going on, let alone who he's shooting at. If the bad guys escape arrest, this asshole should be fired without a severance package for inappropriate discharge of his weapon. Holy it's blonde Miles from Lost.
I will sorely miss the unshakable support you've given the Royal Hong Kong Police.
Oh, so it's the last day of British rule in Hong Kong, and there are international politics and diplomatic retirement ceremonies, and goddamn, anything that doesn't involve Jackie Chan in the opening of this movie is as boring as the trade agreement scenes in The Phantom Menace. So Lee, the lead detective, led the raid on the ship, captured all the baddies, then showered and changed into a nice suit, then drove to wherever this is to whisper the good news by interrupting a state dinner? That's as impossible as it is ridiculous. Unkeepable promises. Lee didn't even know he was going to run into Su Yung, so does he just carry this around in his pocket, ready to give it to a special person at a moment's notice?
Don't be late again.
Chris Penn, playing evil gangsters in 90s movies for his entire career. Also, Chris Tucker's excuse for being late was that he wanted to do this transfer of explosives in the back of the diner, which makes all the sense in the world, even though it was bullshit. Why are they doing this out in the front parking lot, in front of God and everyone?
I'm gonna blow his head all over the friggin' parking lot!
With that trigger discipline, I'm surprised you haven't already. So, Chris Tucker allows 2 cops to get shot because he's trying not to blow his cover? What a terrible undercover officer. How did he ever even qualify for this kind of work? I'm sure Cobb is trying to disable the cop car here, but he does remember there's a ton of C4 in the trunk of his car, right? Man, the LA Chinese consulate looks an awful lot like a regular-ass LA mansion. This looks like one of the places Vincent Chase lived in Entourage.
No problem. Just rush hour.
First off, rush those credits. Also, is this trained assassin seriously closing his eyes as he shoots these fools? Is he scared of the recoil? Or is he trying to show off like Michael Jordan did for Dikembe Mutombo at the free throw line in 1991? Long before it was even accredited, Su Yung clearly attended the Prometheus school of running away from things. Lamp, 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 lamp.
I would like one of my people to help.
No, he's told no and the movie ends here, right? Do ambassadors get to make demands about American investigations?
He's already on the plane. I trust you will treat him with the same courtesy as you have shown me.
Okay, politically, dick move, bro. Also, asking forgiveness instead of permission.
You know, this is why nobody will work with you, man. But you're the only cop in the department without a partner.
Expositional chastising. Chastisation?
I work alone. I don't want no partner, I don't need no partner, and I ain't gonna never have no partner.
Partner shadowing.
Dangerous out there. It's safer for you to be right here behind the desk.
That's racist.
Well, it's a disgrace to me.
Philip Baker Hall's negotiation to be in this movie ended up being his appearance in this movie.
2 officers were shot. 1 man lost a pinky.
You could show me only this clip and tell me it's a Bad Boys movie and I would believe you.
This is an FBI operation and I don't need any help from the LAPD or some Chungking cop. You got it?
Why'd Warren go through all the subterfuge to make Carter feel important if he were just gonna drop this about how useless he is like a minute later? Okay, I guess I can get behind the traditional East Asian music being played during Jackie Chan's scenes, but a gong sound when it cuts to him? It really is amazing that a director like Brett Ratner wouldn't have more cultural sensitivity to his characters.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Funny bit, even after all these years, but Carter already asked Lee twice if he spoke English, so this question is completely unnecessary.
And now Mr. Rice-A-Roni.
Well, definitely racist the way he meant it, but rice-a-roni, as everyone knows, is the San Francisco treat. We're in LA right now.
I'll be right back. You might see one of your cousins walking around here. I'll be right back.
God, it's been a while since I saw this. Is the whole movie Chris Tucker being racist and we just laugh because it's not real racism? Tell you what, I'm just going to add 20 cents for the casual racism and stop mentioning it. This is a long shot of the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and I haven't seen one sweaty cosplayer busking for tips.
Hey, kids, get back in here. Sit down.
Well, thank God that cab was empty, right?
I like to let people talk who like to talk. It makes it easier to find out how full of they are.
Jeez, imagine what Lee would think if he sat through an entire CinemaSins video.
This is the United States of James Carter.
He seriously named his character James Carter? Jimmy Carter?
I'm the president, I'm the emperor, I'm the king.
Those are all different things, man, though some modern-day world leaders also struggle to tell the difference between them. Chris Tucker decided that if he was going to make it in this industry, he needs to follow the exact dialogue model of Will Smith. Later in the movie, he's going to punch someone while yelling, "Welcome to Earth," even though it will have nothing to do with the movie itself. Not watching the road.
That's just nothing but cigarette, man.
This cig of weed!
Remember 1998, when there were still draconian marijuana laws and states were still able to arrest and prosecute for small amounts of weed? It's hilarious to think that any of the states would do that these days. Putting a lit joint in your suit pocket.
Man, I know what you do, man. And the only reason why I ain't busted your ass because you my cousin.
Nepotism.
What's up, my
Man, I'm kind of angry they convinced Jackie Chan to say this for laughs. It played okay in 1998, but it doesn't hold up so much today, man. This is making me cringe. Look, I'm always down for a Jackie Chan versus the world group fight, but this dude that just threw him didn't hear the offensive language, right? He just saw Lee do what he needed to do to get out of a chokehold, so what's his beef? Jackie sinks the 8-ball prematurely here, which is bad luck. You might think I'm going to send the Daily Market sign, but I considered someone named Daly, like John Daly, might own it, and I googled and found a store named this in LA. So instead, I'm sending the fact that this store specializing in milk, meat, and Mexican food has a huge rack of Please Steal Me toilet paper rolls outside the store in an area of town where they cage up the store at night. Even if he knew he had to sneak in here to get to his boss, did he really need to kick so much ass in the process? Everyone here is a good guy, whether they work for the consul or the FBI. Giving himself up and demanding to speak to the consul would get us to the same place we are now anyway, no? The fact that Carter is allowed to continue this conversation without anyone confiscating the phone and taking over is ridiculous.
I just want to be able to tell the consul who is responsible for his daughter's death because he talked too much.
Sure, Carter has a motor mouth, but he really hasn't said much besides repeating the instructions since Sang told him not to sing, right?
We got it. 620 South Broadway, downtown.
God damn it, I am so sick of the FBI or the police or whatever the being totally certain they have the correct trace on a bad guy's call, then sending everyone to that location because there are no other possibilities the bad guy could have employed. Oh no, the incompetent agents led by the incompetent agent in charge got blowed up because they didn't listen to Lee. This comes as an absolute shock to anyone who's ever seen an action movie before. Why do evildoers have to walk right out into the nearby open right after the evil is done? This makes as much sense as John Malkovich hanging out in a DC park dressed as the hippie homeless guy after he calls Clint Eastwood in the line of fire. No one will be seated during the foot chase between two martial artists that is weirdly shot like it's part of Tim Burton's Batman. This would be so much better if they'd cast someone else in this villain role. Look, I love Ken Leung from Lost, and he's a very good actor, but seeing Jackie Chan battle his stunt double is a little disingenuous. It's not like Keanu Reeves wasn't fighting the actual Mark Dacascos in John Wick 3. Ah, here's a falling down while running away cliche, only it's the villain instead of the hero, but still a sin, of course. They both survived this without any long-term injury, which is a miracle. I know they think this car tried to run them over, but are they sure it's Sang's gang? Like, he just shot at a random car in this alley, right?
I'm sorry about spreading all those rumors on Christmas about us sleeping together. I'm sorry.
What?
See, this is what I like to call an easy joke, aka the Family Guy joke. It's a sudden shock delivered via a throwaway tone, and it's literally only for the audience. No one inside the movie enjoys this or thinks it's funny, except maybe Carter, and it casts her character as a sex object instead of a scientist just after she helped them. I'd say Carter is misogynist, but then the movie was directed by Brett Ratner, so maybe there's blame to go around.
I don't care about him, I don't care about you. I care about the little girl. Give me the name.
This works. These two buttholes finally get some actionable intelligence about the kidnapping, and now they decide to stand around bonding over Edwin Starr instead of at least going into the restaurant to see what's going on. Carter says something about scoping the place out, and they're doing jack other than building a paper-thin rapport that's supposed to make us believe they're close for the rest of the movie. Well, at least they're having fun. Also, I guess Carter left the radio on and the keys in his Stingray while they danced their way down the street. Sure, sounds perfectly safe in central Los Angeles.
Take the money to the alley behind the Fuzhou restaurant in Chinatown.
So basically, they would have gotten the location of the bad guys anyway if they'd just waited for the call, right?
Some greasy shit. You ain't got no better food, like some chicken wings, some baby back ribs, some fries or something?
Even the dumbest, rudest asshole in the universe wouldn't pull this bullshit on this poor bastard.
Your daddy was a policeman?
15 years LAPD.
My father was also a policeman.
And friendship.
My daddy once arrested 15 people in one night by himself.
My daddy arrested 25 by himself.
This goes on for some time, and I continue to ask, why are they not approaching the goddamn restaurant? Has anything about either of these characters shown that they're this excellent at self-restraint? Letting a customer smell someone else's food before delivering it to the table.
有人在下面找正套。
If Carmine Falcone is going to be Tony Montana levels of paranoid, why not keep the view of the monitors accessible at all times, especially on the night of the big drop-off after you've kidnapped a young child? I'm glad Lee doesn't drink the poison tea, but regardless, look at that big-ass spot on that cup. It's obviously not clean and would have made him sick anyway.
What Juntao at? Why y'all so quiet?
Carter is dense as all movie long, except for scenes like this where the movie wants him to be double dense as So Lee calls this guy around the corner, who's carrying a tray of food. Then next we see it's Lee in the uniform with the tray of food completely intact. Now how do you assault and subdue a waiter and steal his uniform without the tray ever falling or the food spilling? That is impossible. Here's the problem. If they were just gonna off Carter without asking him any questions, why haven't they killed his ass already? And once Lee saw him go upstairs, what took him so long to get up there to help? God, there's so much wasted time in this sequence that I'm convinced Brett Ratner realized halfway through filming that he only had a 45-minute movie. Like that f***ing gun was gonna play any part in this action sequence. This is the opposite of Chekhov's gun. This is like Spock's gun.
Watch out!
Accidental ass kicking. This somehow happens.
Come on, this way.
Is there a reason that they're running from the feds right now? Couldn't they use their help?
No
Go
longer
down
on
there.
this assignment, Carter. Case closed.
Those two things did not even mean the same thing, and the case is not closed.
It's a little too late for apologies, sir.
Hang on, was the FBI seriously just going to give the $50 million to Sang in exchange for the daughter? Were there any tracking devices in the money? Did they have a dye pack in there? Was there a strategy at all besides paying the ransom and tucking tail? Everyone acts like Lee and Carter royally screwed things up, but show me what better plan there was, man. The kidnappers call again, give proof of life for Soo Young, and only raise the ransom from 50 to 70 million. Given how bad things got messed up, I'm calling this a win.
Whatever.
Ah yes, the 90s, where Hollywood had yet to learn that there is no dial tone when someone hangs up on you. I have to say, they've gotten better at avoiding this recently, so this is a nice little bit of silly nostalgia.
No hot leads.
I swear to Christ, these are the most incompetent FBI agents since the ones that guarded Frank Pentangeli at the end of Godfather 2. They haven't done jack this entire movie unless Sang has told them to.
I was egotistic, I was inconsiderate, I was self-centered.
He's also magic, considering there's no f***ing way this call is this clear while he's driving down the freeway in a convertible. What? His former partner who hates him on the LAPD is able to get him sneaky clearance on the tarmac at LAX as a baggage guy in a matter of minutes?
My advice to you is pay the money.
Yeah, but you're a bad guy. Wait, do they not all know that yet? Holy once again, the FBI is just paying the hell up with no contingency plan. Juntao might as well pull a Dr. Evil and ask for $100 billion at this point. Show them a video of a nuke going off, then bada bing, bada boom, he's Scrooge McDuck. Yo, they know what Sang looks like, and he's got a very distinctive style. How is his picture not on every agent's radar right now, let alone the fact that he's in the building?
Have all the agents hold their positions.
All right, everybody take care of holding your positions.
Hey, if there's one thing these agents know how to do, it's stand still and do absolutely nothing. So I think you guys are in good shape. The subtitles here say, titty, 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 get them titties out of here. And while that might be what Chris Tucker says here, it's still sinful even as regular-ass dialogue.
And then in one fell swoop, it was taken away from me.
I bet even actors who play villains get bored of monologuing their plans to the entire team of good guys at the end of the movie.
Don't move.
He threatens to blow up the ambassador's daughter if Lee moves, so why does Blondie think shaking an Uzi in his face is necessary? Do you ever get annoyed when you see someone smoking a cigarette when they're filling up their car with gas? I sure do. So imagine the rage you'd feel at this asshole who's currently horking down a Marlboro Red right next to 6 blocks of C4.
Yes, just give me a second.
Sure was nice to have that one scene where we see Tanya, a regular LAPD detective, just happen to be training for the bomb squad. This is Los Angeles, only 4 years after the bus. Is Keanu seriously not around? So from what I understand, this is one old guy, a dude with an Uzi, and a couple other waiters versus around 20 trained federal agents. And the former is winning? She goes roses are red, violets are blue before cutting a wire. Is she guessing? He fights these two guys for, like, forever, while no other good guys or bad guys notice or participate. Which is crazy because this is a huge open room. Yeah, about time we got to the point of some vintage Jackie Chan fighting, where he's not only beating ass, he's trying to save all the ancient art. This almost makes this movie watchable as hell, and deserves a send-off. That old bastard climbed all that way up this super tall ladder while lugging the heavy-ass suitcase full of money. They both drop their guns to do fisticuffs, only then they both draw other guns to try and shoot the other guy. And my question is, if Carter was fine shooting this asshole, why didn't he just shoot him as soon as he saw him? Why go through the charade? Look at that tiny ladder tunnel. Juntao Wilkinson does not have the ability to carry that suitcase through this tunnel ladder unless he was doing it with his toes and climbing only on arm strength. God damn.
Oh man, I'll be right back. Carter! I was just playing.
But why? It's not funny. You're literally risking his life for a joke that isn't funny to anyone watching, and definitely not to anyone inside the movie. What happened to the detonator anyway? That sure did just disappear as soon as Carter drove in here, right? I know they didn't want to set off the bomb right next to them, but they could have blown up Lee when he was pursuing Juntao way up in the rafters, right?
I think this belongs to you.
Yep, because it was such good luck the last time she had it.
We were just coming by to tell you what a great job you did yesterday.
And we figured the busy ticket counter at the LAX airport would be the perfect place for this conversation. Also, how the f*** would Carter be allowed to go on vacation the next day? He has like weeks of interviews and paperwork after all that. Many minutes of outtakes, but very few involve Jackie Chan stunts gone slightly wrong. That's the we stay for, damn it, not Chris Tucker flubbing his lines.
Make sure you click that bell icon.
Sellouts.
But clicking the little bell icon is how you make sure you get notified every time we release a video. So click it.
Sellouts.
You want a piece of me? You got it! Sometimes you think you have true love, and then you catch the early flight home from San Diego, and a couple of nude people jump out of your bathroom blindfolded.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that. You can't change anything. Your maniac Iraqi buddy shot Linus.
Sure, we're too old to change the world. But what about that kid sitting down, opening a book right now in a branch of the local library and finding drawings of peepees and wee-wees?
Shut down all the garbage mashers on the detention level, will ya? This is flaming flagrant!
Here's Johnny.
A gun? In here?
Hop inside my mouth if you want to live.
Ah!